John and Sam in Japan, the international comedy podcast.
Theme tune time. Let's go, John. John and Sam in Japan. John and Sam in Japan. John and Sam in Japan.
I told you there's no way I'm singing.
Come on. John and Sam in Japan. John and Sam in Japan. Yeah. John and Sam in Japan.
Never gonna happen. And put your clothes back on, it's just weird.
Never.
John and Sam in Japan, the international comedy podcast.
Welcome to the show. He is John.
And he is Sam.
And this is John and Sam in Japan.
The international comedy podcast.
Episode... I don't know.
15?
I don't know. 15, I think. Yeah.
14, 15,
I might stop saying the number because I can never remember what it is.
I quite enjoy it. It's good.
Just
Sounds like you got early onset Alzheimer's.
Yeah. That's been onsetting for a while, I think.
Alcohol-induced early onset Alzheimer's. So what's been happening with you then?
Oh, it's been a fairly normal week down here. Nothing too special to report. I had with my wife, we had a little bit of a bicker the other day. That was it made me smile afterwards because of what I said to her during the bicker. And I feel like you're in a proper international relationship when at some point you say to your wife, yes, but you don't know anything about bread.
Yeah. What was the argument?
Well, she got these kind of muffins, like the kind of cakey type muffin.
Yeah.
And I opened the fridge and she'd put this bag of muffins in the fridge.
Oh, right, that's not a good idea.
It's mad. So I took them out of the fridge and put them on the counter. I said, you put the muffins in the fridge, talking about early onset Alzheimer's. And she said, no, they go in the fridge. And I said, well, of course they don't go in the fridge. And we had this sort of mini bicker about it, culminating with me coming out with the now infamous phrase, you don't know anything about bread.
So afterwards, did they go back in the fridge, or did you stick to?
Well, that's a very interesting question. So I suggested that we put a couple in the fridge for her and a couple out of the fridge for me.
Oh,
but actually, the first night overnight, they were on the counter, and I had one the next day, and then the day after that, I found them back in the fridge.
Did you take them out?
No, by that time I'd had enough muffin. But you see, that's the thing with getting married. You have to play the long game.
Oh yeah. I remember probably me and my missus once. I remember cutting up a kiwi, and I would never cut up a kiwi in this particular way, like cutting the skin off with a knife. I would possibly use a peeler or just not peel it, just cut it in half and then eat it.
Yes, that's how you do it. You eat it. You cut it in half and you eat it with a spoon. You dig it out like an egg.
So because I'd seen my missus do it this way, I was cutting the skin off with a knife, and then she went, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm just cutting the skin off." She's like, "Why are you doing it like that?" I was like, "Because that's how you do it, and I thought that's how you wanted me to do it."
I'm just trying to please you.
Yeah, that's literally what I said. I'm just trying to please.
Did she say to you, you don't know anything about kiwis?
No. So what's on today's show then?
Well, we've got a packed show as ever. We've got some stand-up comedy from Victoria Arnstein, a very funny American comedian. And we've got some musical comedy from Micky P Kerr, very popular over in Britain. We have loads of other stuff as well. But of course, first, this.
This is J&S in J News.
All right, and now it's time for the news section of the show. So what have you got for me, Sam?
Well, do you remember a couple of months ago we had that story about there being strippers at the Chinese funerals?
Yes, never forget that.
Yeah, I think you bookmarked it. Well, this story, I'm not quite sure if it's one step better or one step worse. I'll let you be the judge. But the headline is, Pole dancing act welcomes children and parents back to school in China.
Oh, excellent.
So, is this better or worse than strippers at funerals?
I think anything involving children and pole dancers is never going to work, really.
Yeah, I think once the kids are involved.
Yeah.
The story says, parents attending a back-to-school ceremony at a kindergarten in China were shocked when a pole dancer took to the stage and began to perform.
I wonder who was shocked. I bet the dads weren't shocked. Different adjective.
Yeah. I bet a few camera phones were proffered. It says, the woman wearing black shorts and a black crop top can be seen in a video running her hands over her thigh before swiveling around a flagpole.
Nice.
Small children and parents can be seen watching and standing next to the stage during the performance on Monday.
Yeah, I bet a few dads had to stand to attention.
Flagpole is at full mast? I mean, I don't think that's a thing. Journalist Michael Standard, whose children attend the school, shared the videos online and wrote, "Crazy! We're trying to get them out of there and get our tuition back."
Out of the strippers' knickers.
All in $1 bills.
Yeah.
He alleged a number of adverts for a pole dancing school were at the kindergarten and speculated that the principal had been paid to display them. In another video uploaded by Mr. Standard, a woman can be seen dancing suggestively. Alongside the clip, he wrote, "The principal hung up on my wife when she called after saying it was international and good exercise."
Actually true.
It is true, 100%. And Michael Stoddard, he did say, he agreed, yes, okay, it may be good exercise for adults, but probably not for 3 to 6 year old kids. There is a danger, of course, of slipping off the pole.
Yeah.
The head of the kindergarten has reportedly been fired over the bizarre incident by the Education Authority. The performance was denounced by the local Education Bureau, who issued a social media post warning other kindergartens against inappropriate behaviour.
I feel a bit sorry for the kindergarten head teacher. I think he just misunderstood the memo when it told him to strip back on his teaching.
That was J&S in J News.
Pants on fire, you're a liar, your nose is growing. Pants on fire, fibs and tall tales.
This time it's the truth.
Time for Pants on Fire. John's going to tell me a story, and I'm going to try and tell if it's true or false. John, go ahead.
I once got trapped in a lift with a crate of beer.
Now, okay, I'm going to need a little bit more information, of course. So, Where were you?
I was in Australia, in Sydney, in a skyscraper. I was doing office removals, and me and my friend Jimmy, it was late at night, and we were in a lift with a huge islander. I can't remember where he was from. I think it was Fiji or something. And I guess he was carrying this huge oak table, wooden table, and we went in the lift, and Jimmy had a crate of beer that we'd stolen from somebody's office. And we must have overloaded the lift because it got trapped between floors. And we were there for at least, I think it was about an hour.
Are you sure you were working and you weren't just burgling the joint?
No, it was a huge removal company. They used to specialise in clearing out office buildings. And sometimes you'd be on a job for like 24 hours non-stop. And just, this one evening, we ended up trapped in this lift for about an hour before anybody kind of noticed. But we did have a crate of beer, so it was all was good.
If you had said to me, one night in Australia I burgled an office, I would say definitely true.
We did have a crate of beer, but we didn't have any bottle openers.
So
this is the bit that probably was even worse. After we both tried to open it with our teeth, and the Maori guy, or Islander guy, he wouldn't do it with his teeth. Instead, he worked out that we could open it on the legs of the table, which this expensive sort of wooden table, we were just cracking beer tops off.
So, okay, a couple of little detail questions. What kind of beers were they?
It was Tooheys New, those little Australian sort of stubbies, are they called?
Yep. Were they warm or cold?
Oh, it was, well, just room temperature. We just take them out of someone's office.
Burglar. How many did you have?
How many did we drink, or how many was in the crate? The crate was full of stuff.
So, how many did you drink?
I don't know, 3 or 4, I guess. Right. Not as many as the Fijian guy.
And did anyone do a wee in the lift?
No. Oh, God.
Right. So, knowing you're there. So you say you're there trapped for an hour. You've had 3 or 4. You've had 3 or 4 beers, and you didn't go for
small beers.
You've had 3 or 4 small beers, and you didn't go for a wee. That lifts a red flag for me. I'm going to say that this story is false.
It is false. Yes, well done.
Yeah. Pants on fire. Time for some stand-up comedy. This episode, we have some comedy from Victoria Arnstein. She's an American comedian. She's from New York, and now she lives in Hawaii. Sounds nice. She performs in Hawaii and mainland America. She's extremely funny. You're going to like this.
How are you doing, guys? So yeah, it's true. I'm a native New Yorker, and I moved to Hawaii, the Aloha State. And I really like summer, so that's why I moved. But I brought my husband and my 3 kids. I thought that was the right thing to do. It was all part of my bigger plan, though, to get a bigger house and cleaning lady. So without them, it would have been a little excessive. I hate cleaning so much. It's really not my fault. I actually do come from royalty. No, it's true. I'm a Jewish American princess. So. I realize people perceive me in certain ways, like I'm privileged, and I'm entitled, I'm a bitch. It's true. But you know what? I'm really conscious about it. Like, I'm aware, like sometimes I'll stop my car and I'll let some pedestrians go. Like, I'll be like, you may go, not you. You may go. And I don't want to make anyone feel awkward or anything. But I should mention that I happen to be an executive member of an exclusive club. It's called Costco. You know what? It's $110 to get in. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. I find it really hard to let go of my youth as I age. And by youth, I mean my children. Oh my God, they're so clingy and expensive. Like, I have to pay for everything. I have to pay for their food. I have to pay for their violin lessons. I have to pay for other children to play with them. I'm kidding. They don't play violin. I'm not a monster. So I heard there's feminists in the house? Yeah? You guys, you're fucking up my shit. Like, my husband's starting to think we're equal now, and I'm so much more superior than he is.
Thank you very much to Victoria Arnstein there for providing the comedy. You can find out more about her on our website, johnandsaminjapan.com. Now, time for a word from this episode's sponsor.
Hello, welcome to Earth Dry Cleaners. I'm Mrs. Sekai. Do you travel on the crowded train? And after, do you smell like a gorilla or a large monkey because you sweat when you're squashed like animal? Yes? Then you need Earth Cleaning. Even if you have sweat patches the size of Hokkaido, it's no problem. Even if your shirt collar is dirty like a train station bathroom, no problem. We can get the smell out. Come down to Earth Dry Cleaners. in Shibuya, and we will make you look and smell like a clean Japanese.
Yo, Johnny McBee and Sammy O.T. Two Brits talk a shit over a cup of tea. Probably a spot of milk and a crumpet, please. But there's something else cooking in the kitchen. Could someone answer the burning question?
All right, and now it's time for this episode's burning question, which was, what's the most danger you've ever been in?
I hope it's up to Bill's standards.
Yeah.
We had an email in from Dan in England. He says he's a twin. His twin brother's called Paul. He also has another brother called Graham. He said the most danger he's been in includes Paul hitting me with a snooker cue, Paul hitting me with a hammer, Paul hitting me with a chair, Paul hitting me with a table, Paul throwing a dart at me, Graham throwing a homemade arrow into my eye.
Oh, brotherly love.
Anyone get in touch with you?
So on Facebook, we had a reply from Katie in the UK. She said hanging off the side of a 50-foot plus drop in her auntie's car after she hit black ice.
Oh, that's serious.
Yeah, the only thing that stopped us going over the edge was a tree growing out of the side of the sheer drop.
That is really...
Yeah, that's danger.
That is danger.
Yeah.
It puts Dan's being hit with a snooker cue into perspective, I feel.
Oh, I don't know. Getting hit with a hammer's quite...
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Having an arrow in your eye. I mean, it's... Yeah, I don't want to mug Dad off.
Okay, fair enough.
How about for you?
Well, I mean, I was obviously in perilous danger the other day when I said, you don't know anything about bread. But other than that, one time when I was about 20 or 21 years old, I was with a group of lads at university, and we were driving from, I think it was Leeds down south. And the guy who was driving, he was like he really was really into cars, and he had a bit of a super turbocharged one. And as we were driving down the motorway, he thought that this other car had kind of, offended him in some way. So he started chasing this other car, driving at ridiculous speeds. And I don't know how fast we were going. I was in the front seat, and I was just like gripping the thing, saying like that. And then my other friend in the back, it got to the point where it was so scary. My friend in the back said, "If you don't slow down this car, I'm going to call the police."
Did he have to walk home?
No. The driver, who will remain nameless, he took it quite well, and he did slow down. And I felt it was a bit unfair on the guy who said that he'd call the police, because we were all hoping for it to stop, but he was the only one who had the piss taken out of him for being a bit of a wimp. How about you?
Oh, loads.
Yes, I can imagine. Most of them self-inflicted, I suspect.
Yeah. I once drunkenly fell off the curb backwards, landed in the road, and a truck, well, kind of like a minivan, stopped literally centimetres from my head. Like, had to slam on the brakes. I nearly drowned in Bali. That was a very bad one. That was, I actually thought I was going to die. Like, really thought I was going to die. I got caught in a riptide and was stuck out. I got washed out about a mile out to sea.
Oh.
And people on jet skis couldn't get me because the waves were too big. And then...
So you could see people trying to save you and they couldn't get to you. Oh, that's the worst.
Eventually, this little Indonesian Balinese lifeguard came to me on a surfboard, like a lifeguard board. And I got on it, but then a wave came and took the board away.
Oh, no.
So then he started drowning. And so we're both drowning. And... luckily, just purely by chance, a big wave came and it didn't break, and it pushed me so far towards the beach that when it did break, as I went under the water, I could hit the ground. And I managed to pull us both out.
That's because you're 6'9".
Yeah. Oh, there's a crowd of 50 people on the beach, women crying and kids screaming. It was awful.
God, that would be the biggest reaction you've ever got.
Yeah. And the worst bit, the thing I remember was I had I was literally felt like I was dying. My heart has never beat as fast. The adrenaline, I was seeing stars, and they made me go to this lifeguard hut and fill in some details about myself. And I physically couldn't stand up. I was that, just shot, and I was slumped against this wall. And the lifeguard boss was just this big, huge, fat guy, just in Speedos with like pubes coming out the side, with his kind of crotch at my eyeline, just basically. I think he was trying to get money off me, but I was just so fucked. I just couldn't be bothered. So yeah, it was awful.
Crouched, exhausted, slouched against the wall with a cock in your eye level. Not for the first time.
I know, we've all been there. Some would say it's a sign of a good night out.
It's international, yeah. John and Sam in Japan.
Okay, and now time for some musical comedy. This episode we feature a song by the comedian Micky P Kerr, who was a finalist on season 12 of Britain's Got Talent. He's an Englishman. The title of the song is I Like Drinking. Personally, I love it, so there we go. I think you're going to enjoy this.
I like drinking, drinking's really cool. I like drinking, I even drank at school. Sometimes it makes me happy, sometimes it makes me sad. Sometimes it makes me piss myself, at times it makes me mad. I like drinking, not drinking's really hard. I like drinking, at times I've even been bad. From the local, at times it makes me happy, at times it makes me sad, at times it makes me shit myself, and that's when it all goes wrong. Students, pensioners, your mum and your dad, doctors and lawyers, everybody does it. It's even fucking legal to get you sent down to the pub with a fresh 10-deck of Rothmans. You're smoking this when you're pissed. I like drinking, I do it regularly. I like drinking, I combine it with weed very often. At times it makes me happy, at times it makes me sad, at times it makes me pass out on the floor and scallies try to rob my trainers. I like drinking, that's what makes me British. I like drinking, but not as much as the Irish. Are the Irish even British? I'm not really sure. Some say they are, some say they're not, and that's what caused the war. Irish, Scottish, Welsh people, Charles Kennedy, everybody does it. Although I must admit, at times it makes me wake up with a bird that looks like fucking Sheringham. And I don't find Teddy that attractive, to be honest with you. Get fucked, have a laugh, spend brass. Get fucked, have a laugh, spend brass. Get fucked, have a laugh, spend brass. Maybe even pull some tash. Oi! Get fucked, have a laugh, spend brass. Get fucked, have a laugh, spend brass. Get fucked, have a laugh, spend some brass. Maybe even pull some tash. Oi! I like drinking, drinking's really cool. I like drinking, I even drank at school. On the premises, at times it makes me happy, at times it makes me sad, at times it makes me wonder.
Micky P Kerr there. That's a great song. If you want to find out more about his stuff, you can go to his website, mickypkerr.com. There's all the information about his shows. I was just looking at it. Through September, October, November, December, he's doing Manchester, York, Liverpool, Leeds, Lincoln, Nottingham, Cardiff, Coventry. He's performing everywhere. So wherever you are, he's going to be there. So make sure you get down to see him. So that just leaves me to say thanks to Victoria Arnstein for providing the stand-up comedy. One more time, thanks to Micky P Kerr. You can also find all of the information about their stuff at our website, johnandsaminjapan.com. And John, at this point, normally we get you to talk about the stars and the contacting and all that stuff. But, you know, just wondering if we can get away with you doing it once and using that same audio over and over again, because I don't think anyone will notice.
Yes, give us 5 stars and tell all your friends and family and your enemies. And if you have any burning questions or you want to submit your own comedy or your own news stories, please get in touch, johnandsaminjapan.com. Anything else?
No, I think that's all.
Okay.
Catch you later. Darling, can you say John and Sam in Japan, the international comedy podcast?
No, thank you.
True love.